Shift these beliefs and change everything about your coaching practice.
Hi, I'm Susie Edwards, and this is Angie Robertson. And here at SEER, we believe in the power of practical tools to coach effectively. Now let's dig in. Beliefs. Mind shifts to coach from a place of power. So we're going to go back and forth with different beliefs that Angie and I have or had in the past and how we shifted those thoughts. One of the beliefs I had, and I did talk about this in another video, but I feel like it's definitely worth repeating. And obviously it mattered a lot to me because it just keeps coming up for me. Not anymore, I have to say though. But I used to believe that if I don't know enough to help this person, especially if I felt this person was above me in a field that I knew nothing about, then I was intimidated and I couldn't help the person.
So just like you didn't have enough knowledge to help them because you like didn't do their same job. Is that what you
'Cause I
mean?
wasn't a surgeon. Yeah.
Mm, you couldn't
What would
help the
I, how can
surgeon
I
because
help
you're not a
how can I
surgeon.
help a surgeon? How can I help an
Got it.
engineer? I don't engineer. Yeah.
Okay.
Really funny because I wasn't trained in engineering within our life coach program. I'm
Right.
like, right, life, life coach. And
Mm-hmm.
then the funny thing was when I did have the first call with them, we didn't talk about engineering or being a surgeon or whatever it was. They needed help, like life help. So it was funny that was still in my space in the beginning, right? It was still
Mm-hmm.
like I was worried about it. So the shift was that, as I grew up more as a coach, that I just don't need to be an expert in their field or know more than them in anything, right? I'm here to help them and not to impress them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's definitely helpful if you know something about someone's field or can speak about, you know, the corporate world if they're a person in the corporate world or,
Exactly.
being a mom and struggles of being a mom if they're a mom or but like I've coached dads, I've coached people without kids. So
Wow.
it can be helpful, but if you don't have that experience, it doesn't mean you can't help, is what we're saying
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a
All
good
right.
one.
What about you?
Okay, so one of the beliefs that I had, um, I don't have it so much anymore, but I keep an eye on it to make sure that I'm not like letting it creep in, is
Mhm.
this like perfectionist, like I have to have the perfect answer for someone and
Yeah.
like being afraid to like give bad advice or give the wrong advice,
Yep.
right? And like that fear can be a really big paralyzer. Like I have to give them the perfect answer can
Yep.
be, I think, a coach relationship killer.
I agree. And that's goes back to worrying, right? Like that somehow I'm gonna fail or look bad or whatever it is. And then again, you're back in a place of just worrying about yourself and then you're not really present for your client. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just to say, yeah, I totally would do this as well. And again, I think it does, that's great that you keep an eye on it and everything, but probably you don't do it quite as much anymore. But like,
Mhm.
especially again, as a new coach, you've got so many tools. It's new. You're not really sure which one to pick. So now you're worried about having the exact right one for the person and worrying about failing or not working, right? So, and that might make you
Mhm.
look bad. So
Yeah.
I can see how this would get in the way.
Right. And so what I was saying is, or what I wanted to say is like the shift is something that you're mentioning is really like, yeah, my job is actually not to deliver perfect answers. It's to listen. It's to ask questions. It's to hold the space for what we're talking about. And then it's to trust like ourselves as coaches to be with the person and help them see something new. And the
Yep.
truth is like I've given a tool or given like, hey, what about this? And it hasn't been right. And
Yep.
that's actually okay too, because it led to the right discussions and it, no matter what, there was a shift in the person. They got to a different place in their life because we were together talking, asking the questions, exploring things together. So again, not about perfection. I would say it's about presence. So you don't need
Yep.
to have the perfect answer, but you do need to have the presence
Yep.
with the people.
And I would say a lot of coaching tools, it's a lot about data collecting too. So you might not even know until you try the tool. And you can also say that
Yeah.
we're not sure, right? So let's do this and see if it works and if it doesn't. And then we'll pivot if we need to.
Yeah. That's a great point. Great point. Okay, good. What's next?
Um, I sometimes still struggle with this. It's about time management. And
Okay.
it's the belief that I have to book the client whenever they're free. So I feel like I'm someone who's good with time management, but this sometimes worries me like, oh, if I don't book when they like in what when they're free, then I'm going to lose them. I'm never going to hear back from them. It's never going to happen. And I don't want to lose them, right? Uh, but the truth is, I need to honor my time as much as theirs. And I've also thought about like when I make an appointment at the doctor's office, anybody else, they tell me when they're free. And then
They
I'm,
tell you when they're
yeah,
open.
I'm like, oh, okay, I'll make that work. Oh, that's not until like 3 weeks from now. Okay, that's fine because I really do want to work with that person. And if your client is really wanting to work with you, you guys can negotiate that, but you do need to honor your time boundaries as well.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
was really,
Um,
gosh, boy, did I suck at that in the beginning.
yeah, I actually think this is a really good thing, especially for new coaches who think that they have to be available all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't think that that's true. I really don't.
No.
I think that, maybe you do decide to offer some off time availability for
Yeah.
clients, maybe. And maybe that doesn't actually work for your life, and that's okay too. Like you're saying, I remember I had the funniest experience, a revelation when it was like I needed to have like a service person come to my house, and they were like, well, we don't work beyond whatever time of day. And I remember being like, wow, that's like not super convenient. I wish they would have a later time to come to fix my thing,
Yep.
but that's not the reality of when they work. And then I had to make it work because I
Yeah.
wanted them to come and do the thing for me, like you were saying. And I was like, wow, it's really interesting. I'm not operating that way in my own business. And what that led to for myself was like a lot of actual like anxiety around like not being available for kids if I was scheduling things at night and they needed me,
Yes.
or like just being upset that I was like working at a time that didn't work for me. Not
Yeah.
upset at the client, upset at myself for like setting it up that way. So I do think it's a great thing that I know in working with new coaches, this is a major thing that people struggle with.
Yes, it is. And then I was also thinking, then you don't show up great,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And very present. So yeah, I'm glad I'm mostly over that now.
Beyond that. Yeah. Yes, totally. Totally.
What
And
about you?
then now, like if
Oh,
you are, once you get beyond that, right, like you can happily offer things that might be out of the norm for you, and
oh
it
yeah,
just has a
yeah.
different feeling.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep. And
Okay. You want to hear my last
next,
one?
yes.
My last belief used to be like, okay, Susie, my life's not perfect. How can I help someone?
Yeah.
Right. And, I think this is one that people could really struggle with. Like, how can I help someone in relationship when I'm not in a relationship? Or how can I help someone in career when I'm just establishing my business? Or, the list could go on and on. I think the truth is that so long as you're in the game, using your own tools, applying things to your life in that growth mode, have your examples of success because we know you have them.
Yep.
You're real and you're in it, and that actually is going to be the thing. Like I don't think that people are looking for perfection. I think they're looking for people who are in it. They're not just saying, do what I say, not what I do. They're like, okay, yeah, you're in it with me. That I think has provided like a ton of connection points between
Hmm.
clients. It's like, hey, yeah, I tried this, I struggled with it, or I'm currently struggling with this thing. Like, as the coach, to be able to share that, I think makes
Yeah.
you really real. And you want to be inspiring to your clients. And I think being in the game of self-actualization and development really is the thing that is inspiring.
I was just thinking, I'm laughing because I'm like, how annoying if someone was just perfect the whole at everything too. I'd be like, yeah, okay, got it. You do it all.
Right.
So the truth is like you want to be coached by someone who's been through the struggle, who's still going through it, but using the tools and can get themselves out of it. And I also feel like sometimes it is harder for us to coach our own selves too. And then so really that's why we're looking for the coach as well, is to get that viewpoint from someone else from the outside, right? So we're always all working on stuff. I think um where Angie and I
We,
might be more advanced, not perfect,
yeah,
is that we've been
but
doing this for so freaking long, right?
but
So
actually, like you're saying, like we coach each other. Like we
yeah,
we still have coaches
yeah,
because we don't always see our blind spots, and I think that
yeah,
that's actually like a great thing to recognize, and I think a great thing for clients to know is like, yeah, we may be able to help you. We believe in the tool so much that we have someone to help us as well, and we apply these things.
exactly. Exactly. Perfection.
No, let's not do it.
So if this sparks something in you, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you next time.